the Israeli government has had a close relationship with the Chinese Communist government for over 40 years. And there have been a lot of transfers of military technology from Israel to China, including transfers of American military technology to China. It's a fact. People lie about it and, well, it's not true. Well, it is true, actually. And I don't think that's widely known.
Wow, these people are amazing. Incredible journalism, man. I wish I could be as good as Glenn Greenwald and Tucker Carlson. I only knew about this 15 motherfucking years ago. Oh, yeah, whoa, yeah. Pluto is in fucking Aquarius, motherfuckers.
I mean, the Chinese help operate the port of Haifa, one of the most beautiful ports in the world. Wonderful place. But yeah, they're in the port of Haifa. So how is it that the main recipient of American support, both financial and moral and legal, and, you know, all the things that we have done for our closest ally, how is it that that country is materially supporting our main global adversary, a country really described by the Trump administration as an enemy? Okay, that's their posture toward, you know, China's an enemy. And our military technology is going to Israel, and then winding up in China? That's a fact? Like, how? I don't think most people know that. And I don't know even if people in the administration know that. I mean, some do.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we are away. What is today's date? Today's date is the 1st of June, 2025. It's 8:48 a.m. in Mexico, Yucatan Peninsula. Let's go over to here. We are going to talk about this great opportunity. Qualcomm CEO unpacks why officials are expanding Middle East relationships. This is fascinating. We'll also talk about Tucker Carlson and Glenn Greenwald, of course, who have just discovered, as you've seen in the intro, that did you know? Did you know? It's like an episode out of Gone with the Wind with the gossip from the ladies. But she was ruined all the same.
He was expelled from West Point so fast. And then there's that business about that girl he wouldn't marry. Tell. Well, he took her out buggy riding in the late afternoon without a chaperone, and then he refused to marry her. No, but she was ruined just the same.
So, I mean, you know, there they are, like 20 years late. It's a form of demoralization because I just look and go, Jesus, they just get away with it. Look at the acting on those two. I'm not going to go into their hour-and-a-half long interview, but it's packed full of bullshit, and we'll talk a little bit more about it. But what I will be doing is showing you this extract of this video and how it relates to what's unfolding. You're going to see over the next 2 months, major revelations come out, and I mean major revelations. As they start to unwind, they've got to do the limited hangout. They have to do the controlled release. And some of it is explained. We'll also watch a 4-year-old video, which is AI, the Antichrist. Did Israel invent 5G, and why are they so slow to build 5G networks? I uploaded that in late 2021. So what I really want to do in this video is to get across to you that Brendon O'Connell is not a genius. The 10, max 20 people over the last 5, 6, 7, 8 years are not geniuses. We're normal. What the internet is worse than a sewer. Pat Berge described it to us perfectly. He said, we spend billions, Brendon, from 2008 on to totally lock you out of everything. Everything.
Explain in layman's terms what this system does, how it manipulates minds, how does it control media?
Well, you know, the same thing we indicted the 13 Russians for, right? Fake personas. One person could be 5 different people. One analyst could be 5 or 10 different personas.
Sock puppets, megaphones.
One person can be 5 to 10 different fake personas in a social media chat room, right? And he can be arguing with himself, sharing links between his multiple profiles, which helps both increase the search engine optimization, increases trending, and increases legitimacy.
So we're talking about election meddling type stuff.
Well, we're talking about anything.
It can amplify whatever you want. It's artificial.
It's artificial, right? So they understand how people will reflexively behave when you put a certain stimulus or certain information, right? So if we understand how people are going to behave, then we collect enough data on them, and like ClearForce, which is a product of ShadowNet, like built from its relational database core, ClearForce.com, owned by General Jones, owned by General Hayden, and some of the top people with the biggest credit reporting agencies and such on ClearForce.com, right? So that was built from the core. That was built from taxpayer-funded DoD weapon, which is used to determine whether or not you lose a job that you currently have or get a job you're applying to. Now, how does it do that? It says right on their website, it builds predictive behavioral models that determine whether or not you're predictively likely to steal or leak. It's a minority report. But instead of the precogs, you've got Jones and Hayden back there programming algorithms. So what if they decide to, say anybody who listens to Alex Jones, we don't want working at our company, or anybody who voted for Barack Obama, we don't want, because it's not about politics.
It's an incredibly dangerous discriminatory system. So we're worried about black versus white. This is AI versus everybody.
Oh, it's far beyond just like fake personas on social media.
It's total information awareness, total information control.
Yeah, and that you can see, like right on their website, they show that this company Centricus, a UK financing firm, invested billions of dollars into ClearForce. And then the very next month, you can see that this China-owned firm invested $15 billion into Centricus. And then you can see that same month, General Jones partnered with Facebook through Atlantic Council, as God is my witness, Alex, to restore election integrity worldwide. And I kind of think that people need to have a discussion about that, because but nobody will listen. Nobody would hear me. And Millie and Gavin did, to their credit. And I warned them. I said, this isn't going to be good. There's a reason that someone as big as, built-wise as Bongino is afraid of these people.
Well, that's right. And also, again, Trump wants to get rid of this, but it's so incestuous. Both parties are so heavily invested and involved. That's why it doesn't stop.
Yeah.
They'll be right back. And again, like you said, it's wedded to communist China. It's got to be shut down.
Okay. And we'll talk also about Peter Thiel and Palantir is forming databases on Americans. Ladies and gentlemen, databases have been formed for 30 years on Americans and all over the world. GCHQ has been spying on you for however long. So please stop this garbage. Palantir, Peter Thiel is like the little pin-up. He's like the Epstein distraction. They own everything. Do you understand how Peter Thiel and this Palantir stuff, spying on Americans, forming databases and psychological profiles, is a complete Epstein distraction from the big issues? Which is what? They're in everything, which I'm about to explain with 5G and Qualcomm. And look at who their CEO is. How Intel and Microsoft are core-coded and designed in Israel. And then they're full of freaking Russian KGB GRUs. All of their high-tech electrical engineers come from fucking Russia and have done for the last 70 fucking years. No one can work it out except the Israeli press. And there's Tucker Carlson saying, wow, I don't think anyone knows about this. No, Tucker, they all know about it except the controlled old media whores making millions of dollars a year. I don't know how I keep doing this, but I'll try. All right. So before we go on, let's just talk about the current CEOs. These were founded by Jacob Irwin. They were all Jews who founded these companies. When you look deep, the only Jew I will accept as a true American patriot is Andy Grove, real name like Hushman Finkelstein or whatever, from Hungary. That guy was a legend. They say he was a bit of an asshole like a Steve Jobs, but he really got Intel Corporation working properly. When there's Phil Noyce and all the rest of the guys, Gordon Moore, were, they were quirky scientists. But it was said that Andy Grove really got in and got the company running like a giant corporation. He had his electrical engineering. He is the classic, runs from communist Hungary, comes to America, kisses the ground he's on. He has to learn the language. And he worked his way to the top. He's not these fake Jews that come in and they won't say they're Jewish when they're clearly fucking Jewish, like this current CEO of Qualcomm. Another Portuguese, Spanish Jew made good. He's from Brazil. Andy Grove is the real deal. And he warned about outsourcing technology out of the United States to Japan and Israel. He warned and warned and warned. All of these Jews have come out and warned, and the Goya just sitting there saying the Jews made them watch porn. I mean, you can understand the distraction of the Epsteins. You can understand the 6,000 distractions. Was Biden had a mental incapacity? Just the circus bullshit they have going on so we don't talk about these important issues. Anyway, let's look at some asshole Jews who we'll see if they survive the purge. Let's just put it that way. But let's remember Andy Grove. That's why you've never heard of Andy Grove, have you? You've never heard of him? Yeah, of course you haven't. You never heard of Professor Israel Shahak, have you? No, you haven't. Finkelstein's going crazy. I don't know what's wrong with Finkelstein. I used to love him. He used to make me laugh my ass off. But anyway, even Viktor Ostrowski. We all knew who Viktor Ostrowski was. Wage war by deception, the unmasking of a Mossad officer. He just pummeled Mossad. And, now Jay Dyer suddenly discovered him. Jeez, we were reading that 20 plus years ago, 30 years ago. And, and then we get, we just don't hear about them. Andy Grove is the classic. Of course you've never heard who Andy Grove is. Anyway, let's go to the actual article. So let's hear the start. Now it's all going to be about. I want to quickly read to you a quote though from my UN document. This was written. I want to go to my UN just before we start, where I go into. This was written in 2012 from a maximum security prison. You can't make this stuff up. So before we go into what we're about to watch, and we'll learn what Gaza is about, we'll learn what Israel is about. We'll learn what quantum computing is about. We're going to learn all this stuff. And I wrote this, remember, from Albany Regional Maximum Security Prison on the south coast of Western Australia in 2012 with a badly broken arm, untreated, a compound fracture of my arm. And I produced this document. It's absolutely incredible. Now, this is Kiwix. I got a lot of information like this sort of stuff. I got that. It's a form of Wikipedia, but it's on the hard drive in the prison, in the education. I found a ton of stuff on there that I could use in my document. So this is what I wrote, 2012 in prison. This is for my High Court synopsis. Imagine a quantum computer developed by Jews in the United States, perhaps jointly with Israel, linked in with the world's databases and the software that enables it to literally predict the future and track and trace every human on the planet. And imagine it is in the hands of people who think themselves God's chosen people with a history of religious and racial supremacism and a religion that promises they will rule the earth from Jerusalem. Don't arrest and charge the messenger. I'm just telling you what they say, think, and plan. Look what they can do with 4.4 million tweets with a few lines of information.
Judah, your brothers will praise you. Your hand will be on the neck of your enemies. Your father's sons will bow down to you. You are a lion's cub, Judah. You return from the prey, my son. Like a lion, he crouches and lies down. Like a lioness who dares to rouse him. The scepter will not depart from Judah, nor the ruler's staff from between his feet, until he to whom it belongs shall come, and the obedience of the nations shall be his.
Cyber is a real domain of power.
Now that was in relation to a very undergraduate 2012 undergraduate program where they taught a low-level AI from undergraduates, not postgraduates, not PhDs. These are undergraduates, and in computing, coding, and computer software, and they managed to scrape Twitter and look for words like sick. And they were tracking with 90+% accuracy where the next flu outbreaks would happen. And over 90% accuracy. And they were looking for the word sick. And they had to find the part where it said, oh, that's fully sick, bro. So they had to differentiate the word sick used in different contexts. And undergraduates managed to predict a 95% accuracy with just a few lines of code. And that was back in 2012. That's how powerful it is. Imagine what they got down at DARPA. So let's go back to the video. So keep all this in mind. Qualcomm, who the head CEO of Qualcomm is. The head of Qualcomm is in fact Christian Amon. I can't find anything about him saying I'm a proud Jew. They always do. But I absolutely guarantee, born in 1970, dude, come on, dude, you're same age as me. Come on. Get some NAC and glycine into you. Get some rosehip oil on the face, brother. But he'll be a Portuguese Spanish Jew. They always are, without question. Oh, member of the US-China Business Council. Yeah, of course you are. And that's the head of Qualcomm. And I've got some good stuff for you. Some of it's seen it. You'll see a video from 2021. You're like, how are you so far ahead of this clown show? Well, no. It's just telling you how bad the clown show is. I would love to tell you I'm a genius, ladies and gentlemen. It's not. It's just so bad. They've chased off all the real people, and they're half-wits on there. That's what they've done. Now listen to this. I'll make it all. You'll just freak out. You're going to freak out when you grasp just how big this is.
Fox Business Alert, we are just getting this breaking news. The Financial Times has just dropped a report that says President Trump is ordering a specific group of chip designers to stop selling to China.
Really?
The FT says the Commerce Department has told electronic design automation companies, this includes Cadence, Synopsys, and Siemens EDA, to halt shipments of their chip technology to China.
If you don't know who those companies are, particularly Cadence, they run simulation software so you can design a chip in like a CAD program and simulate what its performance might be. You can't make a chip without this software. Now, remember how hard they've told you, oh, yes, we're clamping down on China. Well, they've never clamped down on China. Everything's flowing thick and fast. And there might be reasons for that, like medicines they make in China. China can get back at the US too. So they've been biding their time, playing their games. It looks like Xi Jinping might be gone. We'll wait and see what happens there. And looks like there's a couple of 300 million missing Chinese at least. But remember what I always said, the biggest problem for Xi Jinping and his friends, the oligarchs of China, is their large population. They need to cull them down, and they'll cooperate with the US and others for that end. So just remember all this stuff, particularly the next 2 months. Now this is just out today. 14 hours ago, I want you to remember, please remember, that this issue is going to burst out everywhere. Everything we've been talking about, for you long-termers who've been with me this long, everything we've been talking about for the last, basically since I got back from Iran, 2017, when I was in that windowless hotel room in Kuala Lumpur. Everything we begged, pleaded, gave to Whitney Webb, she ignored. She didn't ignore. She was told not to put it up. And Rick Wiles, all of them, hoard out. Now it's going to come pouring out. Now remember all the heroes who are going to come and tell you, while I sit alone, just remember this is what they do to whistleblowers. There are no successful whistleblowers. They've never been successful, except 20 years after they're dead. But these whores, all right, you keep telling me that you're worried about your kids, they're going to kill your kids, vaccine and sterilize your kids. Well, you don't seem that worried about it. That's all I can say.
Electronic design automation refers to the use of software used to design semiconductors. Cadence and Synopsys, you can see, are dropping pretty dramatically, and they've dropped just right after the news hit the tape. Synopsys down 11 1/3%, Cadence down 9 1/3%.
Who cares?
Siemens EDA, which is an ADR, American Depository Receipt, German company, trades here, but it is that German company.
They're also heavily linked in the German hype because the Germans are just magic at lenses and all sorts of stuff. Incredible people, incredible technology they've had. Just know your World War II history. The technology they had in World War II is off the planet. A decade ahead of the best of many things. But just remember, like ASML in the Netherlands, not in America, everyone. The Netherlands, the machines that make the machines they use in Taiwan. No word yet when they're shipping those machines back, because you can't have chip technology security if you don't ship it out of the Netherlands. So I would expect we're going to hear about ASML being shifted to America soon. That's going to be a big deal, because remember, you have to remember this. This is how it all ties in. Please remember, ASML, it's all Jews. All of it. The old Portuguese, Spanish Jews, just like this CEO of Qualcomm, they're all Jews. Every single last one of them, wherever you look. And they're all lovers of Israel, proud to work with Israel. And they were putting their companies in the 1970s. That's how long they've been there. 5G was developed in Israel. They said it was a conspiracy theory. And there's 5G and Qualcomm bragging about it, but apparently it's a conspiracy theory. It's not that these Jews are so brilliant. Of course, they have some brilliant people. They're nearly all Russians, all Russia-based, where there was a heavy emphasis in the mathematics and the hard sciences, because they were scientific rationalists, the communists. But they've just been shipped out by their Kissinger networks, by their long-term illegals, Russian GRU people, 5 generations worth of Bolsheviks, Jewish Bolsheviks sitting in the United States, shipping it all out in the 70s as dumbass Nixon, the idiot, and Nelson Rockefeller and Kissinger were transferring all the technology over to Israel via the Binational Science Foundation. And of course, Israel's passing it on to Russia and China as the City of London builds its network around the world. And the dumb Americans are saying, no, fuck the United Nations. As I keep saying, just take over the world, America. It's a bit difficult when you've been subverted for 5 generations, isn't it? Because all these people are everywhere. But the 1970s, a Kia Yom Kippur War, then a very young Steven Spielberg starts releasing documentaries on the Holocaust, and suddenly we see the move into the Binational Industrial Research and Development Foundation. You see getting rid of James Angleton, and we're going to rehabilitate James Angleton very soon, not completely, but 50% at least. When good old Nixon, who could have been a great president, too much in bed, too in love with money with Nelson Rockefeller and good old Heinz Kissinger. And when he woke up, they got rid of him, they got rid of Angleton. And we see the flowing in and the rapidly shifting of Intel Corp and everything into Israel, rushing to get there for the start of the Kissinger, City of London, Rothschild, multipolar world order, all in the 1970s. So as we watch this video and I show you some other videos and we think about Takak, oh my God, Israel may be transferring to China. We are seeing the unfolding of the greatest espionage case in history. You've been here with me, long-termers, and I thank you for your long-term support. I'd ask you, thank you for putting up with me, but it's not about that. I'm fucked, all right? My life has been fucked. You don't know what it's like to be by yourself. I'm by myself. I've had no friends in Mexico. They've all been acquaintances. They're all fucking commies and fucking new age Apple iPod using fucking commies who hate America, and that's why I just got to get the fuck out of here. I don't know where, but I'll work it out in the next month. It's been hell, and now I've got to watch these fuckers as they release this shit. See, they won't even pay me any money. You know, if we keep doing this to whistleblowers, they're going to fuck us, because this is the controlled release limited hangout. It'll drag us all to hell. You should not feel happy that this... I don't feel happy at all. I feel depressed, like, oh God, here we go, the controlled release, and I'll end up fucking broke, an old man, you know. That's why I'm going to hit Australia. I mean, that's on the cards too. We have to work it out over the next month. I have to go back to Australia, and trust me, in Australia, they are not going to make peace with me. We're going to war. I'm going to have to kill people. I will literally kill people, and they know that. So, and there's no, you can't negotiate with them. I'm telling you, I know this bureaucracy. I've got all these supporters, judges, serving retired judges, lawyers, fucking police, intelligence, special forces, and I just can't win. Everyone just sits there. So if I have to spill blood at Sydney Airport, I'm spilling blood. Don't even try to talk me out of it. But we'll see. And we'll see. Oh, talk so cheap. I hate talking like that, but I'm trying to warn them. Dudes, if you don't move quick, just give me some fucking money so I can fuck off. It's going to be fucking trouble, cunts. I'm never working with you. I'm never... What do you think? I'm going to make peace and Tucker's going to call, hey, Brendon, I want to give you some publicity. I'll get on there. I'll say, oh, fly down to Mexico, Tucker. That's great. And I'll stab him to death. I would literally stab him to death. Once and for all, these fuckers. I will never speak to these fucking people. Well, I will. I'll say, if they ever run, oh that's wonderful. Come on down. Bring your producer. Come on down. Come on fucking down. Oh, great to see you. Boom, 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 boom. Let the blood flow. I don't give a fuck. My channel Patreon can go fuck itself. I don't give a fuck anymore. You're gonna find out when I say I don't give a fuck, I really don't give a fuck.
It's down about 2% at the moment. All right, while the president puts the brakes on chip designs to China, the afterglow continues from his recent whirlwind tour of Saudi Arabia, United Arab Emirates, and Qatar earlier this month. Now, the European Union is now hoping to lock up its own deal with the UAE. The EU is in advanced talks for a first-of-its-kind free trade agreement with a Gulf country. Now, President Trump touted trillions...
These are the Jews of Saudi. They're all Jews. All these people are Jews.
...billions of dollars in economic investments on his trip, and Qualcomm was just one of the U.S. business delegation. that accompanied the president to lock up new deals with the
Look, two Jews. Jew there playing a Muslim and a Jew there playing I'm not related to anything. I'm just some guy from Brazil.
Middle Eastern countries. This morning, Qualcomm
God.
President and CEO Cristiano
organized
Amon
crime cult.
rang the opening bell at the NASDAQ to commemorate the 40th anniversary of the company. In a Fox Business exclusive, we got a chance to ask him what everyone's sudden interest in expanding Mideast business relationships really says.
Expanding Mideast relationships. I reckon it's got something to do with this. Imagine a quantum computer developed by Jews in the US, perhaps jointly with Israel, linked in with the world's databases and the software that enables it to literally predict the future. Blah, 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 blah. Imagine in the hand, it can literally predict the future. I think it might be that. And Ray Kurzweil, Jews fucking everywhere. I can't find, is there any Irish Catholics in here? Anywhere. Well, that's so brilliant. No, you took over because the dumb guy were asleep. Ray Kurzweil. I always thought Ray Kurzweil and this transhumanist stuff was just a complete joke. Like, what whack jobs these people are. Little did I know how worshipped this guy is. This is 2012, people. Kurzweil suggests that AIs will inevitably become far smarter and more powerful than enhanced humans. In February 2009, Kurzweil, in cooperation with Google and the NASA Ames Research Center, announced the creation of the Singularity University. The university's self-described mission is to assemble, educate, and inspire a cadre of leaders who strive to understand and facilitate the development of exponentially advancing technologies and apply focus and guide these tools to address humanity's grand challenges. And when you watch this, where is it? All this stuff about Saudi, a bunch of half-wits lopping off heads. They're all doing coke and hookers while they oppress their people, put all the great Saudi intellectuals into prison the moment they open their mouths. The UAE, all of them, they're all Jews. All of them. And you think that's so far-fetched? Do you really think that's so far-fetched? For God's sake, how do you think they infiltrate Hamas? Because they're Arab Jews. They're Arab Jews. Look at Yisra Hussun, the second in charge of the Shin Bet. Okay, he's renowned as the greatest recruiter. He's an Arab. He spoke Arabic. He was born in Damascus. They're born in Iraq. The Kadooris and Sassoons, the great banking families, the Rothschilds of the East. They're Iraqi Jews. So what? When you see a Saudi Muslim sheikh, you don't think he's a fucking Jew? How else can you explain the fact that they sell out their people? They killed King Faisal. And we've got all these half-breed fucking lunatic, coke-dealing, coke-snorting, hooker-fucking, whiskey-swilling scum lopping their heads off their own fucking people, locking up any dissident who opens their mouths. And we sit here and accept Saudi? Fuck Saudi. When are you going to free Saudi Arabia, free the world? Fucking Saudis are embarrassed. They want to be normal. That's what this is all about. It's everywhere. The links are all below. I could talk for hours about this, like ASML, the Netherlands, the Portuguese and Spanish Jews, the slave traders. They all came out of Amsterdam, right next to ASML. What else is there? ICTS, thank you, Chris Boleyn. Look, I didn't find this information. I got it off Chris Boleyn. Give the fucking person you hear from the credit they deserve. Chris Boleyn writes, ICTS was founded by the Shin Bet in Amsterdam. I've got two questions. They run all airport security around the world, including all US airports. What do they say about Rad Group and Zohar Ziswell? All banks, all telecommunications, all military encryption, all radios, radar, FAA, planes flying into helicopters, hello, remote takeover, all Chris Boleyn. No one will say his fucking name. Whitney Webb, you cunt of a thing. Fucking James Corbett. Gee, God. Fucking traitorous pieces of shit. Oh, I'm worried about my children. Well, you don't seem too worried, just sitting around clicking links. Giving you gold information. You can't seem to do anything with it. Look at Mary, running Silva, running for Congress. You think she's got no support? No one's giving her a fucking thing. That's why most of you have got to be fucking fake. You have to be. I'm just here to entertain you. Fuck it. That's why I say I'm so fucking sick of it. I'm not like you. I'm not like other people. I can't just do shit for money. I have to believe in what I'm doing. And I just can't do this anymore. So why is ASML and ICTS in the fucking Netherlands, two massive companies which are completely should be in the United States? Why aren't it in the United States? I don't know. Ask Henry Kissinger. Ask Whitney. Whitney, do you know who Henry Kissinger is? Maybe Tucker's going to tell us something very fucking soon. Who knows? Wow. We'll all go, wow, thank you, Tucker. You're saving us from the globalists and the blue-haired tranny fuckers. Thank you. God, I just can't. It does my head in. So ASML, machines that make the machines. What the fuck is it doing in the fucking Netherlands? What is ICTS, the airport security for the world, founded by the Israeli Shin Bet? Do you understand? ASML, it's all Israeli, it's all Jews. It's all Russian Jews. City of London. And I don't notice that fucking useless clown thing, Trump, getting that back too quick. They know they're getting it. See, it's not like they're keeping it a secret. ASML know they're next on the block. They don't seem very worried about it, because let me guess, ASML is never going to be spoken about. Oh, yeah. So Taiwan Semiconductor has to be taken from Taiwan, right? But not ASML. The Dutch East India Company in the Netherlands, Amsterdam, ICTS, airport security around the world.
And in the court proceedings, the Judge Alvin K. Hellerstein dismissed this company, this Israeli company, from the proceedings. So they were excused. Like they were off the hook. And this company, ICTS, has passenger screening operations and airport security operations around the world to this day.
You do know that Amsterdam and the Netherlands is like the cocaine capital of Europe? It's the ecstasy capital of the world, and a lot of meth as well. It's all run through there. And look, I'm going to tell you something radical. I don't even believe Dimona nuclear reactor is real. I think it's a giant meth lab, an ecstasy lab. No, I'm fucking serious. I'm fucking serious. You can never tell me. I got to do a video on that one too. Israel and nuclear weapons. You can't make a nuke without testing it. You're going to have to test it at least 5 to 10 times minimum. Where did Israel? It's a simple question. Look, it's like asking the question about Qatar and Hamas. Hamas terrorists, okay, their leadership are in 5-star hotels in Cairo, Turkey, Ankara, and Qatar, particularly Qatar. Okay? Terrorists, mass killers, 5-star hotels, right next to the US airbase. As Winston told us, it's a conspiracy.
Kind of worked with the Israeli government to fund in cash Hamas in Gaza.
Is Qatar really a neutral place? Hamas have been able to siphon off billions of dollars and keep it safely in Qatar. And yet the American airbase is there. How do I make sense of this? And yet the American airbase is there. How do I make sense of this? And yet the American airbase is there. How do I make sense of this?
So I'm using my same fucking brain to ask these very simple questions. They're all fucking Jews. There, I've said it. And then other Jews come out and warn us, and all we can do is go, the Jews made me watch porn. Fuck, jeez. No wonder Jews just sit there and say, Brendon, we told you, they're fucking stupid. You're one of us, bro. Come on over. It's like, yeah, I know, I feel like it. So let's show a video I made 4 years ago. Israel and 5G. Let's watch this, shall we? It's a good video, man. I just watched bits of it again. And we're not going to watch the whole thing. But I was laughing at it. Some of it's quite funny. I had a dancing robot at the end. Let's go. Let's address some of this, shall we? So we've just watched Tucker tell us, my goodness, everyone. My goodness. Tucker says with Glenn Greenwald, Israel's selling technology to China. Watch this.
Israel and Israeli companies are key to the design, testing, and implementation.
4 years ago. 4 years ago.
Remember this news article. Israel combining its technology with China's capacity.
Oh, Tucker!
Israel is key to keeping China alive on the technology front. That's America's greatest ally, remember? Technology that is worth hundreds of billions of dollars, funded by the US taxpayers via the Pentagon budget. But I guess when you're creating a giant artificial intelligence brain to take over the world, you'll be needing the cooperation of a lot of countries, hence the tech giveaways.
Giant Google fiber optic cable project. Yes. It's all coming together. This was April 2020, that article. The Blue Roman cable will run from Italy to India, but due to geopolitics, it will be divided into 2 parts.
The 5G you hear about most often is simply based in old 4G towers and operating at 3.4 gigahertz, not 60 gigahertz. The flat panel 5G closer to street level are nearly all operating at the 29 to 38 gigahertz range. Nowhere in China uses the magical 60 gigahertz oxygen affecting range. They pan out at 37 to 43 gigahertz and the majority is 3.4 gigahertz in towers right next door to the 4G. So when you hear 5G in Wuhan, that's what you're talking about. Only the United States and Canada get the delicious health benefits of the 60 gigahertz range, which is 64 gigahertz to be exact. Now that's interesting. Not even China is bothering with that. South Korea has the biggest uptake of 5G networks, and so far no great outbreaks of coronavirus. They, like China, use the vast 3.5 gigahertz range, and they plan on the rollout of millimeter wave panels later this year in 2020. We should keep an eye out. In short, drop the coronavirus caused by 5G crapola. Please, it's horsepower. Conversely, I guess home Y-Gig, as they call it, that's a 5G base station as your home router, may well kill us all if it operates at the 60 gigahertz range as expected. Can't wait for that. It can also map its immediate surroundings in fine detail like the millimeter wave radar on top of an Apache gunship. It can even scan your face, for crying out loud. You just know they are going to abuse the hell out of this in the...
And that's the key. While we talk about the other bullshits, like talking about Epstein or talking about Peter Thiel and Palantir, all right, you're missing the obvious, the security aspect, the invasiveness. The 60 gigahertz and above can map, it can recognize you. It's like light. It can watch people walking around, going to the toilet. And you have to have them everywhere because their range is so short and a piece of paper will block the signal. That's what we're not talking about. It's for AI. The key with AI is you must have low ping, low latency, high speed 28 gigahertz and above. That is the only way the AI they're building will work properly, because they want your information in real time, not just books from 20 years ago or your feelings from an hour ago, what written on Facebook. They need to know everything instantly. So for the UBI to come, if you get things implanted in your brain or in your body, the transhumanists, you will feed the AI and you will get money for just walking around, jerking off to porn and going to the cafe, whatever you're going to do. And you will get UBI credits. And there'll be lots of half-wits who will absolutely go for that. That is the future. And they know to have the AI mixed with a quantum computer, which is the CERN particle accelerator, that's what it's all about, so they can simulate the universe. That's what the grand theme of this is all about. Everything you see unfolding, Gaza included. And as everyone's saying, Al Jazeera saying, how come you've all coming out of the woodwork just as it's all winding up? They're all, oh, cry Jews are there. Not in my name, these actresses. I mean, it's pathetic. Where were you?
People burn down phone towers and quote Flat Earth Joe. Okay, that's enough. Let's get onto Israel and 5G. Let's start with the king of 5G, Qualcomm. Qualcomm dominate mobile 5G technology, all the way from 2G through to 5G. Qualcomm was the leader and everyone paid a premium to use their technology. So where was a good portion of this technology developed? Israel. Because, you know, Americans are just so stupid. Let's remember all the key developers in Israel were from the Soviet Union. Russia and the Ukraine all were the sons and daughters who spoke Russian, and many no doubt
Hello.
KGB assets at the time.
Hello, Tucker, Glenn. Hello, Glenn, your favourite guy, Julian Assange. Whoa. KGB infiltrated highest echelons of Israel's army, business and political leadership.
Erwin Jacobs is about.
And you just remember how Whitney Webb refused to talk about this. Praise Putin, praise China with a friend, the last American vagabond, Ryan Christian, James Corbett. Whores, liars, deceivers. Well, don't forget to like and subscribe. And jeez, oh my God, it's just like God. They don't have Google, clearly. This is all Israeli press reporting this.
Talk about in this article. 1973, the year of détente with the Soviet Union and Communist China, and Henry Kissinger and the BSF, or Binational Science Foundation. Around the same time, the ban on Jewish immigration to Israel was lifted in 1971, leading to the 1970s Soviet Union Aliyah, or immigration to Israel. The coming to power of Mikhail Gorbachev in the Soviet Union in the mid-1980s and his policies of glasnost and perestroika, as well as a desire for better relations with the West, led to major changes, and most of these so-called refuseniks were allowed to emigrate. Yeah, you bet they were. This was an intelligence operation to gain technology, and it has been going non-stop ever since. please watch video number 14, How Russia and Israel Destroyed Intel Corporation.
Aka, Glenn, hello.
Shake it up, stop when it hits that team. You know what I mean? Shake it up to you ever just shine when my light goes dim? Sing 1, 2, 3, 4. Like we do it, like we do it. Like we do it, like we do it, like we do it. Like we do it, like we do it.
Let's hear it from Qualcomm founder Irwin Jacobs himself, and a few choice quotes. This is the Times of Israel, 21st of January, 2014. Qualcomm founder, a fan long before Startup Nation. Irwin M. Jacobs prides himself on being one of the first US entrepreneurs to discover what Israel could do for multinationals. Some multinationals only became aware of the Startup Nation after reading the book of that title, at which point they rushed in, feet first, to grab a piece of Israel's tech magic for their companies. But others, call them the old-timers, knew the secret of Israel's success years before the country's technology prowess was in vogue.
Knew the secret of Israel's success years before the country's technology prowess was in vogue. Hey, Whitney!
Among those veterans is Irwin M. Jacobs, a co-founder and former chairman of Qualcomm, by far the world's largest cell phone technology company. In the same way that Qualcomm was ahead of its time in cell technology development, I was ahead of my time in seeing Israel's potential, Jacobs told the Times of Israel on the sidelines of this year's Innovex event. A huge corporation, Qualcomm, with a market cap in excess of $100 billion, has 157 facilities in dozens of countries around the world, including Israel. Last year, the company celebrated the 20th anniversary of its presence in Israel, where it has developed some of its most innovative technology. Among the technologies developed by Qualcomm Israel are the company's M2M, or machine-to-machine cellular platform, which is used to track the location of pets, kids, the elderly, and property, a spokesperson said. It's part of Qualcomm's attempt to create a Internet of Everything, where objects are intelligent.
You know, me and Diane tried to tell you, they're in everything. Peter Thiel, Palantir may have been psychologically profiling Americans for me. Oh no! Oh my God, you're not even touching the surface. They own everything.
Gently connected through a combination of advanced wireless networks, modules, sensors, and software to enable the real-time exchange of information, with key elements development in Qualcomm's Haifa facility, the company said. Among the products that have resulted from that technology is Tag, the pet tracking device. Jacobs started his career in telephony and communications in 1968 when he founded Linkabit. The company eventually morphed into Qualcomm in 1985. By that time, Jacobs was very familiar with Israel and Israelis. Quote, I came to Israel about twice a year. The first time was right before the Yom Kippur War in 1973, he said. Throughout Qualcomm's early years, quote, a number of Israelis came to work with us in the US. Some stayed and some went back, and we kept working with them until we eventually decided to open an Israeli office in 1993, explains Jacobs.
This was all planned to shift it all.
Great contributions to mobile technology was development of the CDMA, or Code Division Multiple Access Standard, which paved the way for fast 3G and 4G communications.
Now, just remember when we watched it in with those extracts from Fire in the Valley, the Pirates of Silicon Valley, how they go to Xerox, and Xerox was ordered to hand over the mouse, the graphical user interface, everything to Steve Jobs and Apple. They'd simply distribute the tech. It's all taxpayer funded. They had Skype, mice, keyboard, literal video conferencing in about 1972. It's in that extract from All Watched Over by Machines of Loving Grace. Pechenik, Dr. Steve Pechenik was involved in that. So this is how long they've been developing this stuff. And then they taxpayer fund DARPA to the tune of $100 billion, $50 billion, no one knows. And then they distribute that technology wherever they want it because they own the United States. The United States, Americans aren't doing this. These people are internationalist Bolsheviks. That's what they are. trying to track the goy, the dogs, the animal trackers.
Israeli teams helped to develop the standards for these technologies, Jacob says. In the early days of cell phone technology in the mid-1990s, few expected that the mobile revolution would reach the proportions of today. And in recent years, bandwidth, the amount of space on the radio bandwidth dedicated to cellular communications, has become very crowded because of the proliferation of devices and services that consume so much data. Israel, said Jacobs, is an area where Qualcomm is developing the technology to solve this data traffic mire. Israel's biggest contributions to mobile technology is its ability to design better ways of controlling things, increasing data rates and enabling us to squeeze more out of existing bandwidth using technologies such as femtocells, Jacobs said. Quote, in addition, Israelis are developing some wonderful apps, such as those that can be used for telemedicine, enabling doctors to diagnose and consult with patients remotely.
Let's move it along a little.
And I guess you've already grasped the title. If someone tells you that you're just an anti-Semite repeating tropes you read on the internet about 5G being designed in Israel, well, again, 5G mobile revolution designed in Israel. Now, I'm sure it's a little more complicated than that, but let's just take the article at its word. Qualcomm Israel's Asaf Tobul and Ronan Shoashua tell Globes about the unheard-of download speeds and greener networks coming soon. Qualcomm Israel VP Technology Asaf Tobul starts the conversation with an unequivocal statement. Quote, Qualcomm's first 5G cellular was developed in Israel in Hod Hasharon and will be launched in 2019. The pride he feels at this enormous achievement is unmistakable. Tobul founded Ra'anana-based Design Art.
Let's keep moving. Let's go here.
It wants its data, and it wants it now, in real time, at all times, corporate or individual, and all this stuff is being handled by Israel. And with online craziness continuing, flat earth, burning down 5G towers, Charlottesville, Nuremberg-style rallies chanting Jews will not replace us, ongoing blatant Jew baiting a la 1930s National Socialist Germany, constant hacking by Russians who happen to be Israelis, it's time to lock down the internet and bring everyone to heel. Thank goodness the amazing Israel is there to save us. Sitting in the middle of the pan-Eurasian superstate economic development known as the Belt and Road, laying that optic fibre network for the AI data. Now let's continue briefly. Mr. Tobul states, there's something very correct about this. First of all, it brings a lot more spectrum into the game. Now that we're developing 28 gigahertz and 39 gigahertz.
Cyber powers in the world, I think it's safe to say we're not number.
Here we go. Let's just move it along.
Which is alliances. These are the same alliances that we see now developing. Asia, the countries of Africa, Latin America.
And who talks about it in the depth required without adding, white supremacism?
You guys think we're some fucking game? We are going. Cheryl. We are going. White power!
Shape-shifting lizards and flat earth.
It's been
19 days since you last came on the show. Our last conversation went, quite frankly, viral, David, which tells me one thing. People want to hear the truth. David, welcome back to London Mail.
I mean, it's so absurd. Israel is the second eye of the Five Eyes network, despite being completely in bed with Russia and China. Now, please tell me how the hell that works and why it's not on everyone's lips. Geez.
Now, let's ask that question, shall we? Can we ask that question? It's like, so Hamas terrorists are all in Qatar where they're funded, and Qatar is all City of London banking finance, and Qatar is next to the biggest US airbase in the region. I don't understand. See, it's simple fuck. I love asking simple questions. It's right in front of you. It's all open source. Nothing's hidden. But none of the whores will tell you. Yeah, I'm bitter. I'm fucked. I have $3,000. I'm 54. I'm smart. I had a career. Lost it all. And I'm starting to wonder why I bothered. As the limited hangout controlled release comes about. And we'll talk about Mary Silva. People are going to, well, what do? Have you rang Mary Silva? She'll pick the phone up. Donation is not as important. What we need is $100,000, $1 million, not $1,000. Need $1 million. But have you asked her, like, what do I do, Mary? Well, she'll tell you, this is where you organize. This is how you get down to the Republican Party. This is how the politics work. Remember, Mary's been doing politics for years. She didn't just start now. She's been a libertarian, young Republican, you name it. That's what I mean. She's not like a Democrat trying to penetrate. She's a conservative Catholic Republican, all right, who's disgusted with the whole damn system, but she's just common sense, like a Reagan Democrat voter, blue collar voter, just common sense. So that's how, if you want to help, if you want to do something besides sending me $10 until I'm tired of it all and I head back to Sydney, I'll let you know. There's Mary Silva waiting for you. But you're not doing a damn thing. So I don't know. That's why I just think, I give up. Because if we're not moving politically, I don't see the point. So I think I could boost that along with a nice event down at Sydney Airport, which is a promise, not a threat. That's a promise. That's where we're heading. We'll see. The next month I want to have because when I do it, I want to be ready to go, not just, I'm having a bad day, I'm going to run, I want to have it planned meticulously, and I got a bit of stuff to organize first to make sure all my material is out there and easily available. Because I know these clowns are not going to get the message, but they knew it was coming and they did nothing. So, like I said, I'm asking simple questions. This is 2021. People wonder why I get so angry and frustrated. Yeah, wonder why.
5 eyes? Israel is the 6th eye? No.
This is 2018.
Second eye. Israel is the 2nd eye. Israel is the 2nd eye.
Here's simple questions, people. But then, that's the internet. It's just a sewer. Israel does all the Microsoft Windows core coding and security center. That's the keys to the kingdom. Numerous reports suggest that the multinational company is transforming its Israeli R&D centers into the nucleus for global development of cyber tech for Windows and Microsoft cloud services. Hello, Whitney Webb. Do you remember when we sent you all this stuff 5 fucking years ago, continuously, and you ignored it and said, Microsoft might be an election guard with the Israelis? Do you remember? Do you remember we did that excellent interview with Rick Wiles on Telpiot, then just never mentioned it again? Do you remember? I looked through your book for the word Telpiot. I couldn't find it. Why is that? I don't know, Whitney. But Whitney apparently couldn't tell you that Microsoft is core-coded in Israel. And if you can't see through that dumb little limited hangout bitch, I can't help you. Kingdom of the planet's #1 operating system. Have you heard anything about it? Think about it. All the hacking. Things like WannaCry, which Boeing admitted had infected their systems all the way to the shop floor. Can you think of any scenarios that derive from that event? All the Boeing stuff is all backdoored. Admitted remote software. Admitted Israeli Jewish companies.
We're out at 26,000 feet. We are in a vertical dive. Not a dive yet, but we've lost vertical control of our airplane.
Boeing uses all Windows-based computing, as does almost the entire corporate world, from the White House to the Pentagon to virology research labs. Come on, who talks about it? Well, not when there is flat Earth and 5G coronavirus to talk about. Microsoft Azure cloud computing growing exponentially. Microsoft Office
makes me
Cloud.
depressed.
That's all Microsoft Israel under a former Israeli military intelligence officer, Asaf Rappaport, who recently retired in December 2019. We believe he was retired after our lobbying, and we don't mean Facebook. Well, come on, everyone. Why didn't Whitney tell you who Asaf Rappaport is? He's back in the business now, I might add, graduate of Unit 8200 in Telpiot. Whitney Webb won't say his name, like Whitney Webb will not say Zohar Zissapel, Yehud Zissapel, Red Group. She won't say it. None of them will say it. Peter Palantir, see, do you understand the limited hangout? That's its essence. Palantir. Oh, there appears to be a stuff on psychologically profiling Americans. Oh, wow. Oh, thank you, Whitney or Tucker Carlson or Glenn Greenwald. I'm sorry? Did you not miss Shadowgate? General Jim Jones? Isn't that more interesting? The Marine General, head of NATO? Robert Steele knows? Robert David Steele with good old, as I exposed in Rats in the Ranks, good old, Roger Stone. Jim Jones is his son as well, same name. And Patrick Berge exposed how they were all together.
Robert David Steele wrote the memoir for General Al Gray, who founded the Marine Psychological Warfare Training Center. He wrote books for CIA, FBI. His daughter, Beth Ann Steele, is the FBI freaking public relations. Can you see how it's all tied together? But no one's talking. I mean, Millie Weaver, Gavin Wentz, Patrick Berge, they told us about these companies. They're private, corporatized companies. They're privatized. They're spying. It's not fucking GCHQ or Palantir. Why don't you tell us about General Jim Jones? For fuck's sake. People can't see it. This is the CIA, DIA, you name it. Azure Cloud, where do you think that's fucking core-coded?
Nation's most critical data assets in the cloud. Azure Government Secret opens up a
Doge. God help us, Doge.
place that nobody's been able to get into and invest in.
Secret will enable us to take applications in legacy IT environments and start to move those into a much more scalable platform. This will be a great opportunity to really modernize services and make those more efficient and effective for our defense customers.
And we can take Azure services into the secret realm that clients have been wanting access to.
Microsoft has edge capabilities available now and planning to be available in secret that are just game changers.
They're looking for new and innovative ways to achieve information superiority, but still have the compliance and security mandates. Azure Government Secret introduces new capabilities to unlock the power of that data.
There's been a push to get into secure cloud environments, really being able to provide these organizations with the type of on-demand availability that they really need to do their jobs. Having the power of Azure Secret behind us really gives us that infinite scalability.
Microsoft has been a strong cybersecurity solution provider to the market. Having Azure Secret Cloud is extremely important for our DoD customers and for their mission.
And no longer do they have to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars building out classified environments within their facilities, then paying for properly securing those environments.
Azure Secret will give us flexibility, speed to market, and computing options for customer in the IC and DoD, where we did not have one before. And this is exciting for both us and for Microsoft.
Hilarious. And with what you know now, if you're new to this, and say, oh, he's threatening to kill people. I'm fucking had enough. I've been at this 15 fucking years. 16 years. Listen to this bit, the head of Microsoft, what he's about to say.
My dad is an economist, leftist, Marxist. My mom was a Sanskrit drama professor.
The same Israeli teams at Microsoft Israel will be handling the Pentagon cloud security from Israel. Oh joy, watch my channel, please. Tell me you get it. And then the most advanced Intel CPU designs and fabrication. Not in Chandler, Arizona. No, they're in Israel. I mean, this is a massive national security issue. And Intel is a disaster, with AMD and Taiwan Semiconductor streaking ahead. The lead toolshed of the fourth industrial revolution. Cloud computing, 5G, robots and drones, AI and quantum computing, 100 miles from China. Designed in Israel, manufactured in China. Why do you think China keeps screaming it wants Taiwan? And despite the United States being the fountainhead from which so much of this technology comes, no one in the United States seems seriously bothered to stop the technology transfer, especially from Israel. How can they? The American and Israeli high technology sectors appear almost totally intertwined. Massive American high-tech companies.
Applied Materials is very important to understand. That's the you hardly ever hear about them. Them Cadence Design and those other companies just mentioned. This is where the rubber meets the road. These are doing exotic materials. That's what they're really going to get out of this AI, and they can simulate the universe. Then they can do all sorts of testing within a computer. They don't have to spend $20 billion and massive infrastructure on some new factory or 10 years of testing. AI could be the blessing, an absolute blessing, or it is literally going to destroy us. It's up to us.
Like Applied Materials and Cadence Design Systems are the very core of the world's high technology world. Cut off China from them and it's all over.
2021 I made this.
It's just one stroke of the presidential pen. But again, to be fair, it is a little bit more complicated than that. love or hate Donald Trump, he's actually the president of the United States. He's not running a YouTube channel. So we get it. It is 5D chess in that sense. And China is tit for tat, as so much
Oh, sorry, this was 2020. That's right, it's mid-2020. That's right, I wasn't long in Mexico. This is mid-2020, 5 years ago.
Is done there, and it's threatening to cut off the United States. You can thank Henry Kissinger. Again.
President Putin is my best friend and colleague.
Best friend?
This friendship shows the high level of bilateral ties and close strategic coordination between our two countries. Just now, I had candid and fruitful talks with President Putin. We exchanged views on bilateral ties and major issues of international and regional concerns, and reached major consensus. We signed and published 2 major statements, and witnessed the signing of multiple documents of cooperation. I, together with President Putin, reviewed our country's joint achievements in the last 70 years. We have the consensus that China-Russia ties are at its best in history and can enjoy new opportunities for development.
But don't worry, Ted Cruz has the answer. More cooperation with Israel. Please laugh at these quotes from the Jewish Journal reporting on a hardcore neocon Jewish Institute for National Security of America. This is basically BB's baby. Quote, "We saw just how problematic that supply chain is in the midst of this pandemic," he said, citing a state-controlled newspaper in China, stating the Chinese government would cut off medication from the US if the Trump administration took action against China over the pandemic. That would not merely be economic warfare, that would be real warfare, Cruz added. Cruz said he has been warning for years that China is the United States' chief geopolitical rival, accusing China of stealing US military technology to avoid research and development costs. Sorry, I'm trying not to laugh. I'll go on. Never before in the history of the world has a nation-state employed an intellectual property theft as a strategy integral to their national defense, he argued. Sorry, I'm still trying not to laugh. The Texan also pointed to the Chinese government putting millions of Uyghur Muslims into concentration camps as reason to decouple from China, as well as China's Belt and Road Initiative of offering cheap and easy credit for governments worldwide to invest in infrastructure. Cruz argued that the BRI, or the Belt and Road Initiative, has caused governments to take on debt they are unable to pay back to China, giving the Chinese government economic leverage over those countries. Quote, "That threat is enormous," Cruz said. If you've been keeping up, you know how funny that all is. And I guess China's been taking lessons from the World Bank and the IMF in how to get economic leverage over countries. I'm sorry. This is so funny. It's hilarious. Anyway, you know war is coming. I mean, it's coming. June, August, God willing, Rothschild's bastard sons in Netanyahu, Putin and Xi will go the way of the dinosaurs, and finally, maybe someone might push Henry Kissinger down the stairs along with the entire board of the CFR and Trilateral Commission. And then hostile foreign lobby groups like APAC, the Royal Institute for International Affairs, Chatham House and all the damn think tanks we can think of will be seen for what they are. Hostile, subversive, banker-funded intelligence operations whose sole aim is to use the United States as a battering ram to set up Rothschild central banks and prepare the planet for the global domination of AI, centered in Israel. Well, hopefully the US 5th and 6th fleets won't fall off the flat earth before they take on China and keep Taiwan Semiconductor out of the hands of Xi Jinping and the gang. That's a joke, by the way. Look, the links are below. The links to Tim at abledanger.blogspot.com. He goes into much of this, and we'll see you again soon.
My dad is an economist, leftist, Marxist.
Perhaps you can now understand.
That's Fred Smith's picture. Isn't that right, Joseph Davies? I love this. Yuri Andropov, KGB master spy. When I was a lad in the KGB, we had to leave the office and go out in the cold, spend years setting up specialist operations and spend billions of rubles. Vladimir Putin was the laziest of my students.
The cloud. This is America.
Respect, Papa Bear, but this ain't the 70s. It all rolls downhill into my email. Relax.
What I'm whipping now.
Tranquilo.
This is America. Don't get you
Go dancing, robot. Go.
Don't get you flipping now.
Oh, that was when I used to have fun doing this. Not anymore. Time to move on.
Don't get you slipping now. Look how I'm living.
5 years ago. 5.
Yeah, this is America. Under my area. I got the strap.
Woo! There we go. Those were the days. The links are all below. Don't forget to like and subscribe. The links are below. So have that Qualcomm, watch that whole video. It's about 15-20 minutes worth watching. So as you see all this development going into Saudi, into the newly federated states of Greater Israel incoming. And I'll tell you the secret. The secret is this. Number one, you can contact Mary Silva and her excellent work in front of 300 Republicans and ask yourself why it's taken this long to work out that Israel is a Soviet GRU City of London program. Why? We can start to ask those big questions. We can also ask about this coming up right now. And this crap, total absolute bollocks. Glenn Greenwald, the truth about Epstein, Jake Tapper's humiliation, an insane new push to nuke Gaza. They've all come out, oh my God, this genocide, it's just terrible. Tucker comes out and says, oh my God, you know, when I worked out that Iraq was a lie on the weapons of mass destruction, I came out and said so and apologized in 2023, not 2003, 2023. So once you understand Chris Boleyn, once you understand the greats, Professor Israel Shahak, Jewish religion, Jewish history, the weight of 3,000 years, the Israeli, you do realize he's an Israeli professor of chemistry at Bar Ilan University, and he's lived in Israel since he was 18, and yet he translated the Ode Genome Plan into English. No one killed him. Do you understand how diverse Israel is? How diverse? There's actually a lot of freedom there. That's why people say, hey, you're not going to Israel for political asylum. Oh, well, who knows? But you don't know Israel, clearly. It's freaking, it's under siege. That's why they have to have Arab terrorism to keep the population in line until they're ready. They're not ready, but it seems that someone in the US has forced the hand. And now we see the genocide. And it's not going to stop. It's going to go right the way through. Remember how many of you, you're wrong, O'Connell, again, blah, blah, blah. So, okay, let's watch Hezbollah and Hamas get wiped out. And what do you know? Nearly there. Did your spicy pumpkin lattes help? Nope. The limited hangout does this. They say tokenism will drag us all to hell. I'm telling you, the limited hangout and the controlled release will drag us all to hell until you start getting pissed off about it. You need to get pissed off and angry. I'm not here to fucking entertain you. You have to get pissed off. You want to know where to start? Mary Silva. She got up in front of 300 top Republicans. She got 12,000 votes, and she was messed with in terms of they had all sorts of scammers in there, like putting up fake runs, robbing her of another 12,000. She could have come in easily third. 12,000 residents of Seattle, Washington State, Seattle, voted for Mary Silva. She hangs out with all the Republicans, ladies, clubs, they kiss her butt. The head of Microsoft Physical Security took her out to lunch. Green Beret, Semi-Bird, CIA, hung out. They all went out to lunch together. I'm tired though, people. Stop contacting me. And then saying, but I'm not going to mention your fucking name. You're not paying me enough. I got $3,000 to my fucking name. I don't want any publicity. I don't give a fuck. I want 3.8 million fucking US dollars. I am fucking exhausted. And I'm just tired of it. My interest is healthcare, not to be a little YouTube entertainer. I could do that, but I don't want to do it. I'm much more interested in healthcare. Be all you can be. Carl Jung, individuation, self-actualization. Know thyself, natal charts, astrology, all sorts of know thyself techniques, kinesiology, acupuncture, massage. Should all be done in the churches. To know God, to be a living stone of the church. Theology. That's what I'm interested in. I am sick of this fucking subject. Pay me out. You pay all your other fucking whores. All you be doing is paying me to shut up and go away. I delete everything. Don't care. Never speak to anyone about it again. Don't fucking care. Pay me out. That's how fucking far. The only reason that keeps me going a little bit is just I want to be around so I can fucking be a thorn in the flesh and a burdensome stone in these whores. They're not mistaken. It's not an accident. They are actors taking literal orders, including Glenn fucking Greenwald, the bullshit artist. Who, I don't even know where to begin. Glenn Greenwald travels to Edward Snowden with Laura Petraeus, but 2 weeks before they go, the big mystery, no one who is in Hong Kong. Where is he? Edward Snowden. Oh my goodness, no one could find him. Ends up in fucking Russia, amazingly, with Julian Assange, the KGB asset. Israel is the key in Kissinger to understand how that all took place. And then, listen to this. It's in Glenn Greenwald's book. I've listened to the audiobook and I went, what? And he says he gets Laura Petraeus, and because they were worried about getting effed over, they'd got a top secret document, finally, out of Snowden via the encryption. Remember, the NSA knows everything, but didn't know this. They get the top secret document. You know, Snowden's emailing them, please learn encryption. I'm a high-level whistleblower, but NSA missed it. So they get a top secret document. They go to the Washington Post editor on national security issues, the chief writer, sorry. That's literally the CIA. They are like James Bamford tells me more. That guy is a literal hack for the CIA and the NSA. Admittedly, he's their outlet. He tells me more than Whitney fucking Webb and Glenn Greenwald. James Bamford. I'm not angry against him. He's exposed more than these people combined. But people don't even know who James Bamford is. I've got all his fucking lectures. I guess maybe I have to start on that. But Glenn Greenwald is giving the document and saying, look, we're worried. We're going to get into shit. We want the protection of the Washington Post and all your connections into the intelligence community. And we want you to fund the trip 2 weeks before they go. We've got a top-level NSA whistleblower and want you to fund the trip and give us some legal protection. We're worried we could get into shit. And 2 days later, the chief writer for the national security section of the Washington Post comes back and says, no, we're not going to have anything to do with it. Hands the document back, and that was it. 2 weeks later, they're in Hong Kong. But the NSA and the CIA and the DIA and the WANK-IA and the ONI, none of them bothered to follow the clown show, all well known to intelligence, to Hong Kong. Do you understand? It's like Qatar. Hamas, Qatar, 5-star hotel, American airbase. Simple, 2 + 2 = 4. You see how none of this adds up until you understand Kissinger and Associates, City of London networks. How good people within those agencies were going, let's go, let's follow them. And the supervisor went, no. Leave it. It's under control. We got someone else on it, just like Dave Fresca did, head of the Muslim Fundamentalist Unit, when 5 separate investigations by good FBI, grassroots agents on the ground said, oi, there's suspicious Arabs learning to fly at private aircraft in flight schools, and they're up to a terrorist attack. And they were told to leave it. And that's exactly what happened after Greenwald and all the rest went in. Good people went, right, let's go. We got a whistleblower. And their supervisors say, no, it's okay. We got it under control. Leave it. And they're all sitting there seething. They're on our side. So move. What do you think? They love Mary Silva. Look, they love me, but yeah, I'm trying to ask you something. I am tired now. I played this game long enough. I'm an ordinary person. You need to pay me out before something bad happens, all right? You need to pay me out. All right, ladies and gentlemen, you carry on. Thank you to all those long-termers. Basically, if you cancel now, I block you forever. You're never coming back. That's what I do now. So there's a method to I want to kill everyone madness. I want to just get rid of the shallow fuckers. I just want my hardcores here. All right? And we'll talk again very, very soon. Thank you again for all your support. Remember, get a dog up here. Talk soon. Tucker. It's going to save us. Wait for Alex Jones. My God, can you believe it? AI is going into Israel. Is that the Antichrist? Wait for that one. Talk soon. F. Scott Fitzgerald, quote, "The test of a first-rate intelligence is the ability to hold 2 opposing ideas in the mind at the same time and still retain the ability to function. One should, for example, be able to see that things are hopeless and yet be determined to make them otherwise. This philosophy fitted on to my early adult life when I saw the improbable, the implausible, often the impossible, come true."
What is our common bond truly? Freedom. Freedom. Without freedom, you can't be a Christian no matter what denomination you belong to. You can't be a Buddhist. You can't own a donut shop. You can't drive from here to Oregon. You can't be an American because that's what it's all about, and it's the only thing that it's all about, nothing else. Nothing else. It's about freedom. Only freedom.